Hello, Barbarian. I will be starting shortly. There was a technical difficulty when I first started up. Be right with everybody. Hello, Sephi and Barbarian. Sorry about the delay, guys. Naturally, my computer decided to go through the test this morning to make sure everything was working perfectly without a hitch, and then 3 seconds before I went to push live, nothing wanted to work and I had to reboot. It wouldn't be life if we didn't get these challenges. I hope that you're enjoying your Saturday evening over there in jolly old England. Okay, I'm going to do a brief overview of what we accomplished last week, because we originally, when we built this wall, I tried to use a stack of tires to plug this last gap, and it took me 3 attempts to get those tires stacked in a gap. Hey, Brookie! Good to see you. It took me 3 attempts during the non-streaming attempts to get the tires stacked here, and then Dogmeat ran through the pile and they were scattered halfway to Vault 111. And surprisingly enough, it should surprise no one actually, that hole in the center of the tire, that's not actually a hole. They're incapable of being put over a post. So, in the interest of facilitating that move quickly, I put a fence in there. Hey, Jelly Rolls. Thanks for coming aboard. Okay. There is one thing I did while I was monkeying with the tires and getting frustrated. I did finish the wiring around the block here. I haven't put any lights or anything in, but I did run the wire all the way down to the barn. So now everything in this settlement should have power, or everything that's currently built and usable. As you can see, it's a beautiful morning here in Sanctuary. And 7:15, so I should have a good length of a day to work with.
Rather be off murdering a pint, but this'll do.
She always has something to say. And she's not afraid to say it. I'm thinking that's about time to start working out these houses. the way the place is laid out now, everybody's living in 3 houses. And I think that we can spread out the living arrangements a little bit and get something a little more comfortable going. And it's strangely enough, even though I assigned a whole lot of settlers to beds up near the center of town, a bunch of them have reassigned themselves to the beds in the clinic. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but let's get started by putting away the things in here. We'll store what we can, scrap what we can't store. As usual, we need to be very careful because I did decide to use scrap everything, so I could end up scrapping the whole house. Wouldn't be the first time. Naturally, Sturgis is coming in. Okay, that's a vine. That gives me access to that picture frame, okay. It would be cool if I could store that stool out from under him. I'd like to see what he would do with that. If he'd just continue sitting until he got tired of it, or if he would instantly get up. Brookie, I cannot complain about my weekend. It's been pretty decent so far. Why does that say Giddy Up Buttercup poster? I think that's on that wall, or on the wall in here. Yeah. Does it think that the dryer is that? Wow. The hitbox is so big on that poster that it comes into the next room. I think I'll leave that there. I think everybody knows that this is the former drug dealer's house. I'm going to do my level best to leave that desk and computer and safe. But as you know, in the process of a build, some idea will strike you and say, oh no, I absolutely have to do this, and that will end up scrapping your best laid plans. Oh, look at that. I never picked up that pistol. Okay, so these chairs can be manipulated, but they can't be sat in, so they're just scrapped. I'm getting rid of that poster before it gets in the way, because I know it will get in the way eventually. I have that much confidence in my ability to mess things up. Nice clean slate to work from. Thankfully, Sturgis got out of the house. Try and leave that refrigerator in place. Let's close the refrigerator so it's a little bit less in the way. If I recall correctly, if I try to pick up that refrigerator, if I pick it up from here, from back here, it'll pick up. But if I try and pick it up from here, it'll take the door off. So we don't want to mess with that too much. Now what I'm thinking is I am going to use the warehouse pieces to wall the broken walls inside, or maybe barn pieces, but and then I'll be able to snap floors to the top of these pieces like so, and that'll make an interior solid ceiling so you won't be able to see up through this gaping hole of a roof. That's the plan. Store that floor. I'm guessing I should start in this. Oh. Get rid of that fan. If I start in this back corner, I should be able to get it fairly lined up. And I'm not sure how forgiving the inside ceiling is, but I don't think it's very forgiving. I know that trying to do this in vanilla is an exercise in futility unless you use some very specific methods. Just about everybody I've seen do it online uses virtually the same method, and yeah, I have to make sure that snapping surface is touchable. And it is not cooperating. How about if I get it over? That would probably help if I didn't have the object snap turned off. Okay. How is that height? I think I can live with that. Definitely think I can live with that. covers that wall mostly. Still gives a semi-window to look out through. Definitely think I can be comfortable with that. Now, one of the things I don't want to do is lose this window looking out here, but I'm not going to be able to use that alcove. Well, maybe I can. Maybe I can. Is there a vertically narrow window wall? It's probably asking for way too much. Yes, it is asking for way too much. In the first... Which annoying fan are you talking about, Barbarian? Or, let me rephrase that. Which first house are we talking about? Are you talking about, the Soul Survivor's house? Or the first house as you come into town down here? What if I used a glass door? How terrible would this look? Probably look absolutely terrible. But try and use that center post as a... Let's try and use that center post as a registry so that I can get this lined up. I want to make sure I don't go into the desk. Okay, see, the fan, I'm assuming you're meaning the one that's got the broken blade. I don't know if I even attempted to. Yeah, you meant the one that's in the debris pile over here. Yeah, this scrap everything literally lets you scrap everything. As you can see as I walk down the street, Sanctuary Road, grass. I could scrap walls, the roof. Theoretically, instead of messing with the walls and roof the way I am here, I could knock it down to a foundation and build new housing off that. It's not what I was really looking for in the sanctuary rebuild, but I've seen people do it, and it does turn out pretty nice. Yeah, Soul Survivor's house does not have a fan, so I was definitely not thinking straight when I asked you which fan you were talking about. But I realized when you said which house it was. Hi, Julie. Yes, it's time to give these folks someplace they can live comfortably. Or, oh, I'm guessing comfortably might be a stretch, but Oh, I want to see something about these pieces. Because these pieces normally won't snap together. But most wall pieces will snap like that. So how close can you get these to snap? This won't snap in the middle, will it? No. That could have been a workaround for a short wall. It is not to be. So let's continue. It is just over 3 wide. What is that snapping to? What is that snapping to? Oh, I left a staircase out there. Whew. Had me worried for a second there. So if this is lined up on this interior wall, sunk into the wall like this, we come up almost a quarter wall short of getting to the outside. So anything I put into these exterior walls is going to just be shoved in anyway. And that gets it out over the entire interior space. I think that's a pretty good way to shut off the free airflow from outside. That is not what I just said to do. That's better. Let's try and see things. That's going to stick out on this end. How far is that going to stick out on this end? I might be able to get creative with that. That covers that portion of the wall. Okay, this is still got to be done. That. Watch Rob get stuck by all the walls. There, a little covered walkway going into their yard so that they can sit with their rusty barrels. You know, everybody likes to have a afternoon to sit down with their rusty barrels. Storms are coming. Hopefully it just stays as a rainstorm and not a rad storm. Okay, so we're going to just be pushing a piece in there. Just far enough out that it looks like it's nailed to the surface. Looks convincing from this side. I would definitely say that looks convincing from the outside. Now watch. I put
Been
these
too long since I picked a fight.
doors in the window, and I put them in the wrong side. Because if you place these so that they open, it's almost like having a little those French windows or farmhouse windows where you could swing them open on a breezy day. Now, granted, the effect is best either open or closed, not the act of opening. Because I will tell you, the clipping through while it's opening is definitely a distraction. And now that I've put those there, I'm certain that every settler in town is going to walk by and open those windows. Because that's how they do. I really do like the greenhouse walls or the warehouse window walls where I can use them to fill these gaps in the windows to keep it as a window, of course. Did I turn snapping off again? No, I didn't. You would expect object snap would let it snap to this floor. In that case, I am not going to quibble. I'm going to use the greenhouse one because I like it to be a little bit more visible, more see-through. For some reason, in my mind, I was thinking that those black panes in the window were only opaque during the build mode portion. That looks like a pretty decent repair. Just too big of a spot for one repair, huh? I could definitely see a Commonwealth settler pounding boards on the wall in that shape. And again, it doesn't look like it's in the wall from the outside, so that's doable. Pardon me. Hope I didn't miss the mute button before I coughed. Douglas, how's it going? It is easy to get sidetracked. I am with you 100% on that. Is that tied up against the outside? If I'm not walking into furniture they put there, I'm walking into posts I put there. It's a fair cop. Alright, this hedge will reach through the window if I put it in with it there, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. For whatever reason, it's perfectly happy to snap when I really don't want it to now. And it's not willing to twist while it's going through the wall. So let's get this. Lined up slightly, at least with one of those bars. Definitely something somebody in this town could have done. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my least used tab, mostly because of how long it is. Slacker, Groucho, good seeing you guys. Hawk, wow. I look away from the chat for a couple of seconds, or 20 minutes, I don't know. I'm not a good judge of how long I've looked away from the chat. Everybody comes rolling in. Just want it to feel a little bit. Okay, it's definitely touching the walls in here. And covering up pretty nicely from out here. Yes. Okay. So we now have one very well laid out and secured exterior wall. Now, one of the things I really dislike about how Bethesda did this logically was the door into this room. I don't understand where these jabby pieces of crap came from, because it's clearly on this piece that goes all the way through. Why is it bent out into the doorway? But it makes putting a wall in this place feel more restrictive. Not that that's going to stop me. I'm going to put a wall, but because I think that probably going to have two people living in this house, and I don't think they're going to want to share their bathroom experience with each other. I imagine that even in the post-total atomic annihilation Commonwealth, people will still want at least a little bit of privacy to go to the restroom. Yeah, some of the things that Bethesda included as mess ups like that one don't make sense to me because it was something they had to put in that just didn't make sense. Yeah. However, I'm a lot more forgiving of the things that they completely missed on. That they when I find a gap somewhere that there shouldn't be a gap, I tend to overlook it because who cares? It wasn't perfect, and they're building a pretty decent game. But when something stands out that they actually, somebody actually had to build this way. Is this a prefab wall that they had and they never put a doorway here? I don't know. Need to see the door end of this wall at the same time. As the corner. That's fairly straight. And of course, I'll pick on Bethesda for making myriad mistakes in their absolutely awesome game without being able to do any of the work that they do. Granted, I'm not paid to. Theoretically, they are. And again, it looks like they put it up on the other side. Excellent. This is sort of an office. Let's patch that wall and make it a office and bedroom. I think for the most part, in the real wasteland, people would pretty much fend for themselves on these things. So he probably wouldn't fix that hole right away, and as such, he'd end up with different materials to work on it. And it is getting late in the day, which means that darkness is going to be...
I feel more comfortable with a rocky ceiling above my head.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. I know how dark it can get on the stream, and that my screen is not necessarily what you guys are seeing. Just so everybody is aware, I am going to keep this stream to just 2 hours today. I do have some things that I need to do outside of the house this afternoon, and wanted everybody to know that I will be calling it early, but not too early. 2 hours is still enough time to finish a house or two. There we go. I can tell my grandkids are getting lunch a little bit late because I smell tater tots. Use that whole wall to cover one window. Now this one, if I can work it out so it's completely inside the wall, that would be awesome. And it did work out that way, mostly. Why am I working around this? Can hardly tell that it's out of place. And now we have two really good sized bedrooms, one of which is an office. And although some of these sanctuary houses you can put the pocket doors back in, these little sliding spots, I might do that with this bathroom, but I'm just going to leave these doors over here open. And this looks like it might be deep enough to do it with this one as well. Although I have no idea what I'm going to use this space as. We'll wing it. I'm thinking that our shopkeepers should have a nice place to stay. That'll make it easier to put them down. Whoops. Okay, so that's better. Should be able to put a table in there. You look like the organized type. Oh, Lord. I forgot how much that washes out when...
Sure.
With her assigned to that... Yeah, that didn't mean go to bed now. assign you to the other bedroom. Okay, why won't it let me assign him? Oh, that bed's not... I may have accidentally placed that bed partly in the... Yep, partly in the floor. Alright, you go back to work.
Got it.
And I'll tell you where your bed is. That doesn't mean stop working and go to bed. No, it is not letting me assign that person to this bed. Perhaps it's the bed. It did allow me to use the other bed. Alright, now he likes it. Guess that first bed just didn't work well for them. Let's give them back the same ratty furniture they had when I found the place. Oh, pardon me, please. Oh. I imagine instead of sitting with their backs to the windows, they might like to look out the windows when they're not busy. I know they have some coffee tables. I just stored one. There's one. That should leave enough room for them to move around. Yeah. Oh, pardon this frog in my throat. They're going to want a lamp. People want to be able to see for some reason. Did I find the one spot in this house that electricity doesn't get to? Probably. Naturally. I have a special talent. But I really think the light works there. So instead of moving the lamp, we'll put more power. Just gotta think like a settler. Electricity doesn't go where we want it to. Don't put the light where the electricity is. Move the electricity to the light. Now we got light. Okay. They're going to want to be able to cook with something. Well, there isn't a kitchen theme, so now I have to figure out. It's not going to be radios and TVs. It's I know I can build a cooking station there that works. Use that one. Or I can use that one. Anything that matches. That matches the refrigerator, even if it doesn't match the... There. Is that in the wall? That's in the wall. A little bit more believable. A nice place to eat over in the corner. There's the table that they had in here. And as always, if you're not familiar, I have figured, based on experimenting in my own game, that if you place chairs too close to tables or too close to walls, at least you won't use them, and I don't know how effective they are for NPCs to use them. But if you put them at a slight angle, you can be very close to the table. And the chair will still, you can still sit in the chair. So, you'll see me do that frequently. That is just trial and error that I've experienced in my own building. And of course, if you're not sure if you can use it, you can always just sit down at it. I don't have a stove that includes happy as a feature. Do you know which mod that came from, Douglas? Okay. Speaking of happy, I think they will be happier if they have something to put their clothing in. There's one of these. And I think this person would actually be more industrial if I have one of those, but I don't. Okay. Oh, I've got 5 of these, though. Yeah, I'll be honest, trying to figure out what makes these people happy can drive you nuts. So if I had furniture that just made them happy, I would definitely be into that for sure. And let's see. Make cooking a little easier on them. Some light to cook by. And now that I've put furniture in here, I'll trip over it while I'm trying to maneuver my lights. Why is that floating so low? That's not touching the ceiling, is it? Or is it? No, that's definitely not touching the ceiling. That's a little better. If I give you people a radio, will you promise not to play it? Now, they probably would never play the radio if I gave them the classical one. There. One of the things that I see some builders do and some not do is put TVs back in their homes. I tend to leave the TV in the sole survivor's home, but for the most part, I don't use the TVs. I don't think that most settlers would have any purpose for using the TV. Maybe if the person seemed like a fairly technical person, it would make sense to me to put a TV up, you know what I'm saying? So then they'd be watching holotapes and enjoying things such as that. I don't think I want the painting inside the wall game. Are they all going inside that wall? It'll come out over on that side. Ah! It's trying to put itself onto the lamp. So let's move the lamp out. Alright, get out of my face painting. Build order. Definitely a thing. Don't want bulk posters. I could see somebody having one of these in their house. Ah, I forgot. These are... They don't just require power, you have to run the wire to them. And I don't feel like running wires to those. Oh, those are scary. Yeah, I'll skip on giving the residents nightmares. Looks like the only ones that are smaller are the traditional. Two lighthouses wouldn't look right. Ah, there we go. The always necessary cat painting. Alright. Surface snap is off. Object snap is off. Why is it still snapping to the wall? I can put it on here, but I don't want it there. I want it right there. See, this is the kind of bug that I rag on Bethesda for. Because this is caused by the skin of the wall not being where the game thinks the wall is. Yeah, I do not like that cut like that. Maybe Kitty can go in the hallway. Definitely something for this back wall. I think I'll just leave that blank painting right there. All right, Julie, have a great dinner. Thanks for coming by. All right, well, it's a little Spartan, and I haven't decorated. I haven't put any, magazines or newspapers around. And I'm sure that I'm going to think of some other furnishing that I want at a later point. But I think we've got the basics for this house. Definitely need a chair to use that computer. There, and the fact that the two people who are assigned to this house now have shops out here makes sense. They get done with their work for the day in there. They come in here and they can use the terminal to type up their inventory or sales numbers or write log entries as to why they hate each other, how they're stealing each other's business. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, so I'm going to leave that there for the moment. Okay, at this point, because I've deleted enough houses playing this game, for some reason, the game does not let me store those trash cans, even though that's one of the few things I can build. Ooh. Oh, I turned off Surface Snap. That makes a world of difference. Okay, I can scrap, but I can't store that one. Can I sit in that one? No. You would have thought that storing that one would be okay. Or even sitting in that one would be okay. Okay. This house has far less interior wall issue. Even the outside walls look a little bit more substantial. Well, at least the ones facing into the street. This one's still hugely open. Store that. Can't store that. But I can move it. It's definitely going to be in the way to put a window. That needs a wall. Pretty much, that's the only interior wall that's messed up, though. Well, completely messed up. This one only needs... Well, it needs full repair, too. Alright. This one's laid out pretty much identical to the other one. Just the reverse. So again, let's start in the corner. With a wall piece. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this one is with the driveway, with the little garage, carport. This one would be very accepting of a little bit of, very little bit of over extension. Hardly even tell. Well, if I had put that in the wall straight, you'd be able to tell less, but... You can hardly even tell that's not doing just a job as being extra support. Can I put the floor piece up there? Object snap, because I am not going to get... No, it's probably going to have to be lower. This one's a little bit different in that regard, because that corner piece is going to... Being it's extending out... There we go. Being it's extending outside the house, it's intersecting with two walls. Did I get that even remotely straight? It looks like it's going in there straight. So that wall is definitely straight. Okay. Looks like it's starting to get late. Let me take a nap. And we'll get this running again at daylight. I am familiar with a mod that does give you the house parts. I don't know if I'm familiar with the one you're thinking of. I'll be happy to chat with you and figure out which one it is you're talking about compared to the one I've seen. The one I saw, the pieces don't have the worn down look. No! How's it going? I just used the post with a floor attached to patch the... Yeah, when I was playing on the PlayStation, I didn't try and do anything with the walls to do the ceiling patch. I actually found some of the houses in Sanctuary would let me slide a... Wow, that's just not an easy spot to try and put that piece in. Some of the houses in Sanctuary would let me put a floor piece up in there. And then I could snap it all around the structure. Some would not. The Soul Survivor's house let me do it, and the one that I've been sleeping in this stream would not. It's very frustrating, as I'm sure you're well aware with having built here. Right now, the hardest part for me is keeping the parts oriented the same way that they were straight across. And they are just barely sticking through a little bit. I can deal with that. Sticking through right there and right there. Not terrible. Not terrible. But because you have such limited sight of the pieces, and they'll flip randomly, as you may have just noticed. Like right now, I can't see that piece at all, but I know that it's clipped to it. Okay, I definitely have all those pieces in place. Now, that's not where that's supposed to be. So now what I can do, I apparently tried to put two pieces in the same spot here. Yeah, see, this one turned. What I can do, being that edge is right there, see if I can use the, just get a little bit of a, overhang. I don't think that looks terrible. And again, we have a nicely covered roof. Come on now. Just touch it. That's good. I didn't realize how bent this wall was until I wanted to build against it. This one might need to have the appearance of being patched from the other side. See how many times Rob can twitch on the trigger trying to straighten that out. I've seen worse. Hell, I've done worse. Again, the pocket door here looks like this one would work. But, this definitely couldn't have had a pocket door. This one did have one. I don't know if the door itself is, deep enough, but we'll figure it out. Oh, that's horrible. The pieces that stick out just make it obvious that it's not even touching the wall. Trying to find the spot that makes it work. Some of these are just not aesthetically pleasing at all. That might work a little bit better. That might work a little bit better, yeah. Now that one definitely looks like I built inside the wall, but with a piece of sheet metal, you might be able to do that in the real world. Oh, take care, Sephi. I hope you have fun. It's the curve on this wall that... Okay. That looks better. Looks a lot better. And most importantly, you can't see through it from this side. Of Of course, I can see right through this. But I'm not too concerned about that right now. I am going to need to find a door for this. I don't mind not using a door on a doorway that's... Oh, I'm just going to have to place it here because it's... This isn't really a door frame to the game. I don't mind leaving the doorway open, facing the street, you know, the kind of, maybe they like their neighbors enough that they're willing to leave the front end open. But, this door would be facing the security gate. So they definitely want to have a barrier between them and there. The wonky walls are actually very satisfying when you make something work. When I put the piece there, if I could see a single board sticking out on the outside of the wall and the rest of the wood is on the inside of the wall, or the sheet metal is on the inside of the wall, I can make that narrative in my mind say, yeah, they wanted it that way because they needed something to nail it up with. You know, I like having that ability to do that narrative. If I do that, the window's inside there, and then I can put whatever wall I want in its way. In this gap here. Yeah. Ah, fresh pot of coffee sounds wonderful. I probably shouldn't drink tons of coffee. I've been doing it way too long, though. You see here? The little bit of the white wall sticking out between that one vertical, and here comes the rainstorm. This little bit of white wall sticking out here, I could see that they would wedge a board in here to nail this whole contraption up and end up with this gap and have that still visible. I can accept that. Alright. Rain is darkness. Let's give it a chance to pass. And if it doesn't, I can sleep till morning. Yeah, it gets brighter when you put the sleep thing. So, okay, 12 is basically 3 a.m., so add 4, 16. Thank goodness it's a sunny morning. I definitely want to finish as much of these exterior walls before I run out of time today. Ooh. No, that one's not tall enough. It'd be nice if it would cover that gap. Piece of corrugated metal. The curve is in the wrong place. So let's go with this. We get that locked on. Little twist. Alright, let's watch Rob twitch on the triggers. That's better. Get some glass into this front window. Okay. I don't know, lining up on the center post seems the better choice. Put that just a little further in. Oh, it's at an angle. That's another reason that it's not. Just. That's a little bit better. And a little bit in. That's a little better. Now this window, if I'm not mistaken, this is a little bit of a bump out. So I can't use that same piece because it'll stick out on both sides. So I have to get creative with how I cover that. Normally I would just use a door like I did on the other one, but I don't want to risk the settlers opening it up. Could just close that off entirely, but wire fence? Wire fence. That's not a bad idea. Because I can stack these as high as I want. So I can cover the whole hole. And it's the kind of thing that if they stapled it up here, oh, that's completely too far forward, but they stapled it up on this existing frame. Yeah. Just out, I want just out enough that looks like it's attached to the frame. So naturally this will take 22.5 minutes. Meanwhile, I can get it to disappear entirely into the frame in a way that would be fine if the little tips didn't stick out the sides. I think that's got it. Yeah. Excellent idea. Thank you, Barbarian. This one needs a window. And I think I'm going to use that half wall piece first down at the bottom. This one like this. And then I can use that windowed piece for up here. Where does the time go? Because I swear I just looked at the clock a moment ago at almost 10 minutes of 1 and told you guys I was only going to stay till 2. And now it's almost 2. Alright, with this, because of that solid bar in the middle, I'm not going to line it up on the existing bar. I'm going to line it up to make the rectangular panes. It's amazing how fast the time goes. Let me just check my work here. Yeah, I wanted that to look like it was nailed onto the outside of the house. That came out awesome. The window could possibly be set the other side of the wall. A lot of wood sticking out even that far in, so let's just leave it the way I had it. If the wood's going to stick out, it's going to stick out. Well, I did not get the opportunity to finish laying out this house in the time that I gave myself today, but we've got, again, a roof overhead and all the walls worked out. Next time I intend to finish off all of the currently unused houses. Let me put this back in the bathroom before I forget about it, because that's why I kept it. Whoa. Oh, it doesn't like that. The tricks you find out Bethesda used once you start playing with it. Alright, as I was saying, I intend to finish this house. I may just furnish this house and light it, and I'll give you a review of it at the beginning of next week's. I intend to finish the decoration in this house. I'll do that during the off-stream hours. So next week we can look forward to, hopefully, if I move with some alacrity next week, finishing this house and the blue house at the end of the cul-de-sac. Those are the only two that have nothing in them at all right now, other than the junk that was in there, or the bed I tossed in this one for me to sleep in while we were building. I have not decided how much work I'm going to do on the Soul Survivors house. My character isn't the sentimental kind, so I don't know if she'll actually do that up. This is currently being used as a bunkhouse. That's the bar. And the workshop house is also a bunkhouse right now. So by the end of next week, I'm hoping that there are enough individual residences for at least pairs of residents to have their own place. We'll also be removing the crops. I need to check with some of the experienced builders who have worked with these becoming phantom crops in the past. I think the trick is to assign the person to do something else when the crop is ready to harvest, but not harvested. But I'll check in with people who are much more knowledgeable than myself on that. And I appreciate you coming in here and spending the up to 2 hours we had together today. I hope that I've done something that made you enjoy your 2 hours. I'm certainly enjoying bringing it to you. Thank you very much for your suggestions today on both building and die, with the advice that it was time to sleep because it was getting dark. As usual, I hope that you all have an excellent week ahead of you. Stay healthy, stay happy, and I hope you all take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.